the Persian Gulf countries have been bombarded yet again. So Bahrain, once again, almost getting wiped off the map, and so did Kuwait. And they're targeting Bubiyan Island in particular, where a lot of the U.S. forces launched their HIMAR missiles from. And apparently, even Iraqis could hear the explosions in northern Kuwait. The Persian Gulf Arab countries have largely joined in. And, I think if we combine the strikes that the United States is carrying out, along with the expanding capacity at which they're doing so, plus the Persian Gulf Arab countries joining in, we have an interesting analysis that I'm thinking of. I want to give to you guys. The first priority of these strikes are to allow the United States to provide safe passage for the ships. That's why they're hitting all of these missile launchers even further inland, make sure they can't really target these ships. And one by one, the Islamic Republic is losing missile launchers and drone launch facilities. The second is for an extensive air campaign to be able to launch your planes further into Iran. And the third might be the landing of troops because they're hitting all the ports as well. So the missile launchers and anti-air defense have been largely degraded, and the strikes are creeping slowly more inland, and they're expanding in scope as well. It's becoming increasingly possible that that limited ground operation is in coordination with the Arab countries, and it's going to take place in the southern coast of Iran. The Persian Gulf Arab countries, except for Saudi Arabia, are all on board with these strikes. Even Qatar is on board now. And some of them have joined in. We've seen Kuwait and Bahrain taking more active roles. We've seen potentially the United Arab Emirates joining in a couple of the strikes a couple of weeks ago. And so, in terms of the Arabs, there were two options. One, join the Abraham Accords, or two, destroy the Islamic Republic. And it seems like we're leaning more towards destroying the regime because being allies with Israel creates discontent within their countries, is their train of thought, and they don't want to deal with that unrest. The loop of a ship gets hit, then the United States strikes, then the Islamic Republic empties its missiles on the Arabs has apparently had enough of an effect because even during the 40-day war, a United Arab Emirate nuclear reactor was struck. There's constant threats to their desalination plants. They just got their industrial sector hit last night, a U.S. Kuwaiti-linked industrial port, which was a civilian target. And I think this is really getting to the Persian Gulf Arab countries, but previously they didn't mind. They didn't care. They had it really good. They're sitting in a good spot. But now that their money is in danger, they haven't been able to get as much oil out and sell it, they're beginning to act. So objectively, whether you're a believer in Trump or not, the result of the MOU in the shipping crisis has trapped and forced the Persian Gulf Arab countries to take an active role against the Islamic Republic. And another thing is, after they join, which is now the game is started, the real stage. Trump negotiating with the regime poses a question to these Persian Gulf Arab countries, which is if we don't finish off the Islamic Republic, we as a whole, everyone, is the United States going to make a deal with the regime and leave us with the aftermath? And I think they're asking themselves that question at the moment. What do you think?
But what could the Arab countries do? Like, if they want to go aggressive, what are they even capable of? Like, what is it?
So,
I mean, I
yeah,
don't
that's a
see.
great question. Previously, they were getting in the way. Having them not simply get in the way is a huge step. Letting us use their airspace was actually a huge issue, which is kind of actually the reason why the Persian Gulf is in its state right now. It's kind of their own fault. And then even helping in the strikes, giving them some limited information on where to hit really reduces some of the load on the United States here. So I think that's probably the direction that we're heading. And I think that if I had to guess, in the next couple of weeks, the possibility of infrastructure being hit is probably very high.
Hi.
Is probably very high. Um, and I'd also say that the possibility of shedding another layer of IRGC leadership is also probably very high. The question is, are the Israelis going to be given the green light? Are they going to take out Ghalibaf, or are they going to be given instructions to take out Ghalibaf's opponents. And then after these extensive strikes on Tehran and other cities in the next couple of weeks, in fact, a few weeks, we're going to hit Pickaxe Mountain as well. And then we're going to draw
Oh my
the
god.
Islamic Republic remnants back to the negotiating table and force them to give up the nuclear. I think, to me, that's where I'm seeing this heading.
So right now in Washington D.C., the people are talking in a way as if the taking of Kharg Island is inevitable. Like it's gonna, like a lot of people are talking about it with a high degree of probability, which is interesting. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but that's how people are talking about it. Within the Islamic Republic, also people are talking as if the third war is about to happen. There's a I'm again I'm not saying it's going to happen or not, but that's how people are treating it right now, that we are about to escalate significantly. Are you seeing any
You know,
movements that shows that, a lot of people are talking about fuel tankers, a lot of people are talking about Israelis seem to be behaving in a way that they have already received the green light and they know that something is about to happen and they're ready to go in. um, I don't know if all of this is just for show to scare the crap out of the Islamic Republic so that they come back at the negotiating table, or something serious is about to happen. Um, One thing that is now on the mind, like that is now becoming more and more talked about, is the Pickaxe Mountain, Kukolang Mount. That is something that the Washington wasn't talking about after Operation Midnight Hammer in June 2025, because talking about Pickaxe Mountain will basically send a message to the Americans that Operation Midnight Hammer did not destroy the Islamic Republic's enrichment ability. Now that we're talking about it, the Americans are being told that there's a whole other site where enrichment of uranium was happening that went untouched at Operation Midnight Hammer. The fact that that is being put out there wouldn't make sense unless the United States is going to do something significant about it. Because the message before was Midnight Hammer completely destroyed the Islamic Republic's nuclear program. Now Washington is now coming out there and talking about this whole other fourth site that we never touched, and that's actually the main site that we need to destroy. So completely against the narrative so far that Midnight Hammer completely destroyed the Islamic Republic's enrichment ability. So you can't put that on the table unless you're going to do something about it. Because this whole, both Operation Midnight Hammer and Epic Fury, was all with the goal of getting the Islamic Republic, stopping the Islamic Republic from getting nuclear weapons. Now that you're showing the Americans, like, by the way, guys, Pickaxe Mountain is here, like, oh, okay. So then none of this would have worked to achieve the objectives that the White House communicated with the American public, unless you do something about this. So why would the Americans now bring that to everyone's attention unless they're going to do something significant about it? Because now President Trump's military operations would be considered a failure unless you do something about Pickaxe Mountain, right?
so to answer your great points there. So the first one is I have seen some things that are moving behind the scenes that do suggest we're going back to a bigger escalation, full on war here, which is those 40 refueling tankers that they moved from Israel to the Qatar Al Udeid base are now gone. As of yesterday, they are all now gone. Remember, guys, we thought that they put them there in the first place because they thought it was safe in Qatar. Even though it's closer to the Islamic Republic, it's safer because things are dying down. They're all gone now. They were used in these last week of operations, and I think they're back in Israel at this moment. We actually don't know where they are, but they're not in Al Udeid's base anymore. And this is confirmed via the Copernicus satellite. That's the movement on the ground. Another thing, we also don't know where the USS Boxer is, but we know it's close by. And we know that the strikes are all along the coast, the entirety of the coastline, to degrade any sort of resistance the Islamic Republic can do. In terms of Pickaxe Mountain, I think you're completely right. Why would you even mention it if you're not going to do something about it? But also, why even mention it unless the Islamic Republic isn't doing something there that's of actual threat? If it wasn't a threat, it wouldn't matter. It could be any sort of dirty bomb making, enrichment, further enrichment of uranium. And the biggest threat is that we can't reach that site. Can the United States possibly bomb the roads leading to it? Maybe some of the tunnel entrances? Perhaps. But is it going to stop what's happening inside? We can't reach it because there's so much granite in the way. Something serious has to be done about that. And I think this is the build up to it. Trump's goal from the very beginning, which never changed, was nuclear. And now that they found out under Pickaxe Mountain there's something happening, which has clearly alarmed the Americans, this is where we're going to.
Well, to be clear, the Americans knew about Pickaxe Mountain from the beginning, like 6 years ago. They knew about it, right? But they didn't talk about it, and now they're talking about it. So they're talking about it like
Exactly.
so now that it's out, now that you're telling the public about it, then you must do something about it. And there's only three things you could do about it, Ellie. Let me know if I'm missing anything, or do you agree? Either you're going to use tactical nukes, which is very unlikely, close to impossible. Yeah, very unlikely. So that's one of the only ways to, because your bunker busters don't go that deep. So either you're going to use the tactical nukes, which you could already cross it off as extremely unlikely. Two, ground invasion to go in and basically get rid of the site. Eesh, that is like very unlikely. I mean, I don't know, maybe more likely than the first option. But oh, guys, I'm not exaggerating. I don't see any other way other than the third option. The third option is regime change. Like with Pickaxe Mountain, you cannot use bunker busters. It's too deep in the middle of Iran for you to send a ground army all the way there down that deep inside of Iran. That would require hundreds of thousands of American military troops going in there. I'm pretty sure the American voters will not allow that one. So Pickaxe Mountain, the only way you could get rid of that is with regime change. There's no other way. Am I missing something here, guys? Let me know in the chat. Guys, chat, am I missing something? With Pickaxe Mountain, the only solution is regime change.
I think you're close. I think there's a fourth option, but it meshes and melds with option three, which you just said, regime change.
Oh.
It's that you allow Ghalibaf to be able to give up the uranium.
Somebody's saying you're missing a deal. I mean, if
Yeah,
you're the
so
Islamic Republic,
the deal.
okay,
I think that
for a
is a
deal
fourth
that
option.
okay, but that's also, if you're the Islamic Republic, if you give up your enriched uranium, you're gonna collapse from within. Guys, the Islamic Republic couldn't even hold back shooting at ships because of the internal demands for fighting against Americans and getting the revenge for the blood of the supreme leader. So you think, like, given how much pressure the Islamic is on Islamic Republic based on its own base of support for not eliminating Trump and destroying Israel, what do you think is going to happen to the Islamic Republic if they come and sign a deal and say, "Here you go, Americans. Here are our enrichment uranium facilities." Like that deal, guys. Signing the MOU has broken the Islamic Republic. Imagine signing a deal that gives up that leverage. In fact, if they do give up that leverage, then they have nothing anymore. That is, signing a deal like that is regime change. Signing a deal like that will eventually, well, it's not a regime change, will eventually lead to a regime change. It's suicide. It's suicide. So I think regime change and signing a deal like that are basically the same thing.
My name is Armin Navabi. I'm an Iranian political analyst with decades of experience fighting the Islamic regime inside and outside of Iran. Make sure you follow me for more, and also make sure you join our discussion group. I'm there almost every single day. Come talk to me there and the rest of the people there in our group calls. It's a great place to meet and talk to people who like talking about politics. The link is in the description and or in the bio. You could also get there by scanning the QR code on the screen. See you there.